I feel so chill. Wait. Hello, my name is Priscilla, and I have OCD. I bet you're wondering what's OCD. Well, OCD is obsessive compulsive disorder, and I've seen other animations where people tell their side of their story, and I guess I want to tell my story. OCD is a mental illness marked with recurrent intrusive thoughts, unwanted thoughts, and repetitive behaviors. People with OCD often feel marked anxiety or distress due to their symptoms. Symptoms can fluctuate with anxiety. So, having OCD was very difficult for me. I was diagnosed back in high school by my psychiatrist that I experienced OCD for a while. I actually had it back when I was 8 years old, but I didn't seek help until I was 16, 15 years old. It was a struggle. Well, as I watch other people or a YouTube channel of others explaining their symptoms, I honestly feel different. I can't explain it because my symptoms are opposite and completely hard to explain. For example, I've seen other people explain their symptoms, and mostly their intrusive thoughts would either be checking the oven or the stove before they leave the house, and if they don't check it 3 or 4 times, something bad might happen to them or the house might catch on fire. I've seen people said that they have to drive a certain way because they have thoughts or fears that they might actually hit someone, and then they have to drive back just to check if they didn't hit anyone. I've seen other people who have health issues, like they worried if they get a simple cold, but then their thoughts will tell them that they might be seriously sick and they should get checked. Mostly, I've seen people have those kind of thoughts. But what I have, I just feel like it's never about myself. My OCD is always fear of harming my loved ones. I keep having these intrusive thoughts towards harming or wishing something bad might happen to my family. And if I don't do these rituals, or what I call compulsions, I have to say a long, lengthy prayer. And the prayers are always 10 minutes long. And after I finish saying this one prayer, I have to say another prayer. So, if you don't know my background, I'm Catholic, and I'm sure that my OCD also it's very obsessive in my faith as well. I have to say prayers to prevent bad things happening, and it's hard. To be honest, making this video is hard for me now, and I'm struggling. I don't know. For example, when I say these prayers, if I ever get another bad thought, or if I get another intrusive thought, I will have to say the prayer over and over again until I feel at peace. But it's exhausting. I have bad thoughts towards my loved ones, and it's scary because it makes me think, well, my mind convinced me that I'm this terrible person. And like I said, it's scary. Just having OCD isn't easy. I guess I'll get to the point what is the root of the problem in my brain. My OCD is mostly like fear of wishing bad things. It might sound stupid, and I shouldn't believe in superstition. But it started at a very young age when I was visiting my mother at her job. And I was outside and I saw a star in the sky. And my head said, what if you wish something bad or something to harm someone? And for example, I don't remember, but I wished something towards someone that I cared about. And I got scared. I thought maybe it would come true. And this fear lasted until middle school, where I was convinced that I could have been a terrible person. The fears mostly, my fears was mostly if I make a bad wish and it come true, it was totally my fault. That's how I thought of it. That's what my brain would convince me. So it will resort to that prayer. And when I finally sought help in high school, I was on medication and I was going to therapy. I was doing a bit better until I was off of medication due to migraines and side effects, and I was just not feeling so good. So I had to go to one medication to another medication. And to be honest, right now, today, I'm struggling. I'm really struggling. Having OCD isn't easy. Because for me, every simple task is hard. When I'm at work, or I'm at home, when I'm showering or brushing my teeth, or just doing simple tasks, whenever I get an intrusive thought, I either have to rewash my hands, or I have to walk a certain way, or I have to say a prayer. And I've been doing this a lot recently. My dad has the Virgin Mary statue in his living room. And I always go there and kiss her on the top of her head. And I always kiss her head and ask her to protect my loved ones. And I do it repeatedly and repeatedly. It gets to the point where I have to make the sign of the cross more than once. I honestly, I just can't explain it. It's really hard. And what scares me the most, I keep having intrusive thoughts about my dad. I honestly don't know why, but I'm scared all the time. I'm scared that I might harm my loved ones, and I don't want that. For example, I just keep getting intrusive thoughts about my loved ones. And I have to say a prayer. I have to do something to prevent it from happening. And it's exhausting. I can't explain it, but it's hard. I'm on medication now, but it says it will only take 4 to 12 weeks for it to kick in. So right now, I'm suffering. Right now, as I'm making this video, I have these intrusive thoughts. I make the sign of the cross. I have to say a prayer. I have to kiss the Virgin Mary on top of her head and just ask for help. When I'm at work, I have to pace back and forth. It's really hard. And I'm going to show you pictures and examples in a sec what it's like to have OCD. OCD is like a cycle where you have an obsessive thought that goes to anxiety. You have to do a compulsive behavior, which I call rituals, where you have to do certain things to get temporary relief. And these are examples what OCD is. For example, I honestly believe I have ruminations because whenever I sit down, I just have terrible thoughts. So I ruminate a lot. People have order chemistry, checking, contamination, but I believe that I experience and suffer rumination because I just get flood of terrible thoughts. And I can't explain how exhausting, how scary it is. Because it feels like you're trapped in your own mind and you can't win. Honestly, it feels like I have this little demon cloud following me around wherever I go, just giving me all sorts of anxiety and terrible, terrible ruminations. I honestly don't know what to do, but I'm just gonna leave it in God's hands. I guess I'm just making this video because I wanted to share my story. I wanted to share what it's like living with OCD. It's honestly trying to get these things out of your head, but it won't stop. Like, it gets louder and louder, and you're trying so hard to ignore it, but you can't. You tried so hard to not do compulsions, but your mind convinced you if you don't do it, if you don't say a prayer, if I don't knock on wood, if I don't wash my hands twice, or 3 times, or 4 times, something bad might happen, and it's all your fault. And it's scary. I keep having these thoughts, and they won't end. I am now on medication, and this is only my 1 week of taking the meds. It says it will take a couple of weeks for it to start kicking in. And right now, I'm suffering and waiting for it to kick in. I just want the thoughts to go away. So this is my story, and I'm gonna make part 2 for OCD. I'll tell a part 2 story of and get in details of my OCD. Thank you for watching.